Hello and welcome to All 24 News World News program coming to you live from Algiers with me, Karim Zachary. These are your headlines. Protesters storm Sri Lanka's Prime Minister's office as President flees country without resigning. US President Joe Biden just arrived in Tel Aviv in occupied Palestine Wednesday, kicking off a high-stakes trip to the Middle East. One person was killed and another injured in Donetsk region shelling, according to local authorities in Ukraine. Also coming up in our program, Twitter's fury at Tesla CEO's attempt to walk away from a $44 billion deal is spelled out in its lawsuit. Hello again. So we kick off our program with the state of emergency that was declared in Sri Lanka on Wednesday. The Sri Lankan Prime Minister's office said the declaration was made after President Gotabaya Rajapaksa left Sri Lanka amid an economic crisis. Hossan Burkan has the full story.
Sri Lanka protesters breached the walls of Prime Minister Ranil's office in the capital Colombo on Wednesday as the government declared a state of emergency. Hundreds of protesters marching right past rows of riot police surrounded Prime Minister's office at around noon, demanding his immediate resignation. Protests against the economic crisis have simmered for months and came to a head last weekend when hundreds of thousands of people took over key government buildings in Colombo, blaming Rajapaksa and their allies for runaway inflation, corruption, and a severe lack of fuel and medicine.
Today I came to the President's house to inspect whether it has damage or not. And we are looking at the place and we are suggesting some measures to protect this. As an archaeologist, we can't replace the things that it has been damaged. So we have to take it with the people and also with the others who are responsible for these things.
Sri Lankan President Gotabaya fled the country on Wednesday, hours before he was due to step down. Riot police fired several rounds of tear gas as protesters climbed over the compound's fences.
According to my opinion, Parliament has already been rejected. All 225 members of the Parliament have been rejected. Now the people will decide who will be their Prime Minister and who will be sent to the Parliament in the future. Members who are already elected to the Parliament cannot decide.
The demonstrators demanded the resignation of Ranil at the same time as the President Gotabaya, who promised it before leaving the country on Tuesday to flee to the Maldives. Authorities have temporarily shuttered schools, while the country relies on aid from India and other nations as it tries to negotiate a bailout with the International Monetary Fund.
To the war in Ukraine now. According to local authorities in Ukraine, one person was killed and another one was injured in shelling on Tuesday in Donetsk region. Residents said a Russian ammunition depot was hit by Ukrainian military. Islam said with the story.
On the 138th day of the war, the Ukrainian military on Tuesday reported destroying a Russian ammunition depot in southern region, resulting in a massive explosion, while rescuers said the death toll from a weekend Russian strike in the country's east grew to 45.
We were at home. The shelling started. Everyday shelling. It's normal occurrence for us. They shoot here every day. Here are some shell fragments we found.
The precision of the strike suggested Ukrainian forces used US-supplied multiple launch high-mobility artillery rocket systems. Ukraine indicated in recent days that it might launch a counteroffensive to reclaim territory in the south as Russia bombards the eastern Donbass region. In his daily message, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine will be able to defend and rebuild itself.
In the Donbass, assault attempts don't stop. The situation doesn't get any easier. We have to remember that. The occupants have already felt very well what modern artillery is, and they will have no safe back anywhere on our land. Ukraine will be able to defend itself. Ukraine will be able to rebuild itself. Ukraine will be able to achieve all its foreign policy objectives.
Україна зможе реалізувати всі свої зовнішньополітичні цілі.
Military support from Western countries has been the key to boost Ukraine's weaponry capabilities against Russian forces. However, Ukraine Foreign Minister said more weapons are needed.
Definitely, we are planning and preparing full liberation of our territories, and I will be optimist when I see Ukrainian flag raised in Kherson again or in Nova Kakhovka, which is a beautiful place. The deliveries of weapons have to be sped up. And all our friends and partners know that. Many are working to make it happen.
According to the UN, about 14 million Ukrainians have already left their homes. Nearly 90% of them are women and children. Cities and towns in 5 southeast regions in Ukraine were affected by the shelling. Reports said at least 16 people killed and 48 more injured over the past 24 hours.
A Russian military group landed in Istanbul on Wednesday, July 13th, where they are meeting with Turkish, Ukrainian and UN representatives to discuss restarting secure grain exports from the Black Sea port of Odessa as the world food crisis intensifies. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24th drove up the price of grains, cooking oils, fuel and fertilizers, Turkey has been working with the UN to mediate a solution. The most recent conversations were disclosed on Tuesday by Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar. The separatist Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine inaugurated an embassy in Moscow on Tuesday, while denouncing a worsening of the situation on the ground, where fighting is intense. Russia is one of the only 2 countries to recognize the breakaway statelet in eastern Ukraine and defended its right to impose capital punishment. Moving on to a different matter now. Bucha will be remembered as one of the violent episodes of the war in Ukraine. As a result, civilians are trying to collect pieces of their lives, while others in Bakhmut are evacuating the city. More in this report.
Bucha is finally collecting its pieces after fierce massacres. Yet civilians are still living with the trauma. Davidovsky is a Bucha resident seeking reparations to rebuild the house he constructed with his late parents and has hired a lawyer to put together a case over alleged war crimes that he says Russian soldiers committed there. As he's slowly cleaning up his badly damaged house in the Ukrainian town of Bucha, after he says it was used as a command center by occupied Russian forces and caught fire as they withdrew.
I had nothing left. They stole everything. All my clothes, money, property, memories. I have nothing left. I have come back to work, but there is no way I can buy back all this with my salary.
In the other hand, in Bakhmut, in Donetsk region, artillery fire was heard Tuesday and almost destroyed city center. Behind the town hall, about 30 people were waiting to be evacuated in too many buses. At first glance, the town of Bakhmut is quiet. Sunlight floods the square in front of town hall, and residents are leisurely strolling. But the artillery fire and the howl of the sirens are brutal reminder that the front line is not far away, and residents brought a bus to be evacuated.
All normal people are afraid. It's natural. What else are we supposed to do? After all, no one is safe. Elsewhere bombs can also fall, and one can be killed. Can't run away from war.
While some Ukrainians are reconstructing their wrecked cities and others evacuating to safety, the war in Ukraine is affecting the world as much as affecting Ukrainians.
During his first visit to the region since entering office, US President Joe Biden attempts to reaffirm and recalibrate American relations with the Middle East. But it won't be simple in a region where new doubts about the future of American influence are being raised. Joe Biden just arrived to occupied Palestine in Tel Aviv, where erratic political circumstances have left a caretaker government in power until elections later this year. reducing the possibility of long-lasting agreement.
And to continue our shared, unending work to fight the poison of anti-Semitism wherever it rises its ugly head. Wherever we find it in the world, we make real on the promise of never again by taking it on. We have a full agenda over the next 2 days because the relationship between Israel and the United States covers every issue that matters to our mutual futures. We're united in our shared values and our shared vision. I'm looking forward to our time together over the next few days. May Israel and the United States continue to grow and prosper together for the benefit of the entire world. And I mean that, for the benefit of the entire world. Thank you, and God bless you all.
And in the same context, the Hamas spokesman assures that Joe Biden's visit will not serve the rights and interests of the Palestinians, while some Gazans hope that the visit of the head of the American government will not be a gateway to the Arab world for normalization with Zionist entity. Kremlin said Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi during a visit to Tehran next week. It will be Putin's second foreign trip since Moscow sent troops into Ukraine on February 24th. To a different matter now, Libya's National Oil Corporation announced in a statement on Wednesday the lifting of force majeure and the resumption of exports from the oil ports of Briga and Zwitina. A team of specialists from NOC have conducted negotiations to let carriers enter the Cider and Zwitina terminals to resume oil exports and to restart oil production. And still with oil news, the price of Sahara Blend, the Algerian benchmark crude, rose by $13.03 last June compared to May, supported in particular by the increase in demand, indicated the organizations of the petroleum exporting countries OPEC. With this rise, Sahara Blend ranked first among the most expensive crudes in June 2022, among OPEC's 13 crudes. The Mauritanian parliament approved during a public session on Tuesday evening a draft law related to a memorandum of understanding signed between the governments of Mauritania and Algeria to complete the land road linking the Mauritanian cities of Zouirat and Tindouf province in Algeria. The Algerian side has the procedures for its ratification, adding that the preamble to the Memorandum of Understanding confirms the will of the two brotherly countries to strengthen brotherly bonds and intensify as well as diversify economic and trade exchanges. Strikes and staff shortages are forcing airlines to cancel thousands of flights and causing hours-long queues at major airports, dashing hopes of a sizzling fast summer after COVID-19 lockdowns. Norwegian airline or Air in June agreed to 3.7% pay rise for pilots, among other benefits, in a sign of what other airlines may have to offer to avoid labor strife. Firefighters in Spain's western region battled to extinguish massive blaze on Wednesday. The wildfires have burned around 3,500 hectares as the country swelters in heat wave. No homes have been damaged. However, many people living in neighboring villages have been evacuated as a safety measure. Demonstrators took to the streets in Panama on Tuesday against food and fuel prices despite government measures meant to curb protests of previous weeks. Measures announced on Tuesday include price controls for some food items, along with a series of austerity measures designed to rein surging inflation. President Laurento Cortizo announced earlier this week that this administration will fix the price of gasoline and diesel at $3.95 per gallon for 3 months, starting on July 15th.
Mr. President, the people sent you a clear and loud message. The people are organized in the streets. The people don't accept the $3.95. The people are waiting for you to correct the proposal that we consider unjust and lacking justice for the people.
In a win for Russia, the UN Security Council has approved a resolution extending the humanitarian aid delivery to 4.1 million people in the northwest of Syria that are under rebel control. Sufyan Kanchouri with the full story.
After Russia rejected the resolution calling for a year-long extension and received insufficient backing for its resolution calling for a 6-month extension, the UN Security Council was unable to prolong humanitarian relief delivery to 4.1 million Syrians in the rebel-held northwest from Turkey.
This process, like so many around this table, Ireland and Norway have been guided solely by the humanitarian needs of the Syrian people. The authorization for the cross-border operation expired at midnight on Sunday night.
Following the votes on Friday, Norway, the United States and others stated that they would work to bring the 50 council members to an agreement to prevent the halting of aid.
It is our sincere hope that this council can build on this adoption to engage in further constructive dialogue on Syria and above all, to put the needs of the people of Syria at the heart of all that we do.
4 border crossings allowed humanitarian supplies to enter Syria in 2014. Since then, 3 of the 4 crossings have been closed by Russia, permanent member of the UN Security Council. It kept one in the north, the one currently under attack from the rebels in Idlib and the UN.
We expect the humanitarian needs to keep increasing even if the aid stopped from the border crossing, and it came from demarcation lines. Today, we are covering less than 50% of the humanitarian needs across all sectors, but if the aid went through the demarcation line, we would only be able to cover 20% of the needs.
As a result, rebels in Idlib are fearing Russia will block the renewal of UN Security Council resolution that allows aid to delivered from Turkey to Syrians who live in Idlib province. The jobless women in Idlib province are scared and saying that families survive on 2 meals a day, mostly made up of rice and burghul.
What am I supposed to do with these children? A child should eat 3 main meals a day. That's a known thing. I am feeding my 7 orphan children only 2 meals a day. They are never full, so we are now experiencing double the hunger. I feed them in the morning and in the evening. And that's it.
Russia, a key ally of Syrian regime, has frequently demanded more humanitarian aid delivery from inside Syria, across war lines to the northwest. The administration of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad would have more control as a result.
Twitter sued Elon Musk on Tuesday for violating his $44 billion deal to buy the social media platform. It asked a Delaware court to order Musk to complete the merger at the agreed price. The act came after Musk said he was ditching the deal, accusing Twitter of breaching the agreement by failing to respond to requests for information regarding fake or spam accounts on the platform. Strong winds and heavy rain hit the Washington metropolitan area as storms swept through, prompting a severe thunderstorm warning and a flood in several countries across the area. Power outages were reported as well. Northern Virginia residents were treated to a stunning rainbow and lightning show against a pink sunset sky after strong winds and heavy rain slammed the Washington metropolitan area on Tuesday evening. NASA unveiled the first full-color image from the James Webb Space Telescope on Monday evening. That was celebrated by U.S. President Joe Biden. Let's follow.
Following a presidential sneak peek of galaxy-studded image from deep in the cosmos, NASA was due on Tuesday to unveil more of its initial showcase from the James Webb Space Telescope, the largest and the most powerful orbital observatory ever launched. The first image from the 10 billion James Webb Space Telescope is the farthest humanity has ever seen in both time and distance, closer to the dawn of time and the edge of the universe.
You're seeing galaxies that are shining around other galaxies whose light has been bent. And you're seeing just a small little portion of the universe.
That image will be followed Tuesday by the release of 4 more galactic beauty shots from the telescope's initial outward gases. President Joe Biden released the first full-color image from NASA's James Webb Telescope during a public event at the White House in Washington, claiming that they could see possibilities that no one has ever seen before.
These images are going to remind the world that America can do big things. And they remind the American people, especially our children, that there's nothing beyond our capacity. Nothing beyond our capacity.
The first full-color image from NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, a revolutionary apparatus designed to peer through the cosmos to the dawn of the universe, shows the galaxy cluster SMACS 0723, known as Webb's first deep field, in a composite made from images at different wavelengths taken with a near-infrared camera released July 11.
Well, that's all we have. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Protesters stormed Sri Lanka's Prime Minister's office as President flees country without resigning. U.S. President Joe Biden arrived in Tel Aviv in occupied Palestine Wednesday, kicking off a high-stakes trip to the Middle East. One person was killed and another injured in Donetsk region shelling, according to local authorities in Ukraine. And finally, you followed in our news Twitter's fury at Tesla CEO's attempt to walk away from a $44 billion deal is spelled out in its lawsuit. Well, that's the end. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.